Welcome to From the Minds of Raging Rats. I'm Heather.
I'm Ashley.
Welcome.
It's been a long week.
It's been a very long week. It's been a long week. It's been a busy week. It's been a crazy week.
Yeah. Drama, lots of emotions.
Let me say that last night, while dashing, I saw some pretty crappy Christmas spirit. I don't know the situation, so I don't know if it was a hazard or not, but I imagine that there could have been a million ways to resolve it and still leave this poor family their Christmas tree. But last night, driving around Medford, we got to see old MPD impounding some family's SUV with their fresh Christmas tree on top.
That poor family. Can you imagine what they were actually feeling and thinking at that moment?
Yeah, I am just wondering, I am hoping and praying that there were no kids in the car, because
that's what I was thinking. Like, what about the babies?
I am not even a Christian, Christmassy spirit type of person. I actually kind of tend to avoid the Christmas spirit people because it tends to seem like Christmas brings out the worst in most people anymore instead of the best.
It does. Like, it used to be, Christmas was when the family came together. Like, I remember all the cousins getting together, the grandparents pretending to get along. Like, and everybody, it was just felt almost like magical. Like, we wanted to be together. Now, my family, at least, definitely doesn't celebrate together. We've all moved to different states. We didn't keep in close contact. Like,
no, my family too, when I was little, like even with all the crap I went through, like there were always that special time of year, Thanksgiving, Christmas, that we all just kind of set aside our BS and came together. And like there are days, especially during the holiday, where I just almost fall apart emotionally because I remember those good times. And it's like those were the bright, shiny moments that kept me from fully fracturing mentally as an abused child. Those were the moments that kind of held me together and kept hope that there was something better in life out there. But when that fell apart, like a part of my soul died.
I think for me, and I've heard this from many other people too, but when my grandma passed away, that was the end of Christmas. Like that. We didn't come together for the meal anymore. We didn't all do presents. And once she passed away, we didn't really speak anymore. There was no reason for us, really. Because the person, our glue, the person that forced us together, wasn't there anymore.
That's kind of how my step-grandparents' side went when my grandpa passed away. Like, that side of the family just stopped pretty much getting together with anybody but the main siblings and my grandma.
Yeah.
Her kids and her, that was it. And I don't know, it felt very much like, and I know that wasn't how grandma meant it because she's told me that that's not how she meant it, but like it felt very much like, you aren't part of my family, so please stay the fuck away from me.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, that kind of added to, and I know it wasn't meant that way, but it added to the trauma of that holiday already. And so, I don't know, I tried the last couple of years, I did Thanksgiving, but at the end, it made me feel so drained. Like, I was like, I am like expending so much energy to hold in my emotion during this event and to be appropriate and to behave in an acceptable way. And I'm like, that's not how I live my life anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't find my language appropriate, then don't hang out with me. If you find what I wear offensive, then don't hang around with me. If you find what I look like offensive, you know what? There's plenty of other areas to turn your eyes to.
See, the way I feel is they raised me to have an opinion. They raised me to be loud. They raised me to be confrontational. And they said this is just how it is. They are just mostly mad that my opinions and my loudness and the way I choose to be myself is the exact opposite of the way they choose to do it.
Yeah, they wanted you to be carbon copies.
And don't get me wrong, like, my mom has come worlds away from where she used to be. Like,
too.
She is far more accepting. Like, I dye my hair funny colors and get a new tattoo, and she's like, cute. All right, sweet. When am I getting tattooed next? You're taking me next time. Like, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, my mom used to be
my
one of
mom's
those
not there with the tattoos yet.
My mom was like, you got tattoos, especially on your hands. You should be you're a convict. You look like a criminal. Now my mom wants more and more tattoos. She might soon be more tattooed than me, given the chance.
I know I would be more tattooed than anybody I know if I had the finances for it. Or a good tattoo artist that wanted to give me free tattoos. Because I'm so particular. Like, I've had many like upcoming artists offer to give me free tattoos, but after the one done on my back,
yeah,
and that one being such a special tattoo to me, how bad and how blown out it is, like.
Yeah, see, I was honestly thinking about getting a Christmas tattoo because this December has a Friday the 13th.
I know, this Friday.
I know.
Several people have gone, I'm going to get a Friday the 13th tattoo, and it's everything I can do not to flip them off because I love them, but I'm like,
I can't. Like,
I can't afford one, so get out of my face.
Yeah, I would really like to, but I'm trying to be like the mature adult that doesn't go waste my money on frivolous things at the moment, because
we're trying to, make some goals and move forward into a house and that kind of shit. Yeah,
those, adulting bullshit.
Yeah, the stuff that we begged as children to have.
That our children are currently begging us for.
Yeah, that we just knew that it was going to be the coolest thing. That, I didn't have these same beliefs, but like, I'm going to use my son's original thought process for adulthood as the example, because while my thought process might have not been this extreme, every kid has this type of thought process. So when my kid was a little younger, first, he told his cousin that he couldn't wait to be an adult because then him and his, at the time, best friend could move into a house and play video games and eat junk food all day. Mm-hmm. And his cousin was like, oh, cool. So how are you paying for all this? And he's like, what do you mean? I'm an adult. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somehow in their mind, like, becoming an adult meant you had an unlimited bank account. And I was like, whoa, mind blown. But now he tells me crazy stuff. Like, he can work being a video gamer, or he'll do like me, like some DoorDash stuff. And he's like, and I will buy a 3-bedroom home in East Medford. Now you look up the median home for sale in East Medford, and I believe that you could probably find some cheaper end ones in the 300,000. But I think the median is like 550 or 600,000 is like the starting for a decent 3-bedroom in East Medford.
By the way, this isn't a good town. It's not a town that should ever cost over 200,000. Frankly,
I don't know. Those houses up in East Medford. You should drive.
The houses are nice, but the tweakers.
No,
that
not
are
up
in
there.
I'm
gonna have to drive you up on East McAndrew sometimes because it's not. It's not.
Okay.
It's like the rich people's island. When I go up there to deliver DoorDash, and as soon as I drop off, my DoorDash map says, you're outside of your area. Please return to your area if you would like more dashes.
Oh my God. Even DoorDash is like, ghetto, go back home.
So no, these houses, and those houses up in East Medford, like, if you're wanting a really nice house, those houses can go for 1.5 up to like 7 million.
Oh yeah.
There's some good houses up there, and they're giant houses, and they're beautiful, and they have all the amenities, and there's lots of smart homes up there, which I didn't even know that our area had smart homes, fully automated smart homes, but we do.
No, thank you. Don't like technology. Don't trust it that much.
But it's just cool to know that our area has gotten into that era and that finance bracket. But anyways, off topic, because the point was he told me he's going to buy a home in this area, a 3-bedroom home, and he's going to live in it for $3,000. And I said, for your mortgage?
He told you what?
I said, for your mortgage payment? And he goes, no, buying it outright.
Boy, you can't buy a car for $3,000. Child. A sweet, sweet child, no. I have to talk with my nephew.
Yeah, I didn't continue the conversation. I fell over laughing.
Yeah, at one point, my son had told me he was going to work at In-N-Out, making about almost $20 an hour, which, sounds nice until you get into taxes and everything else, which I just recently explained. But before that, he's like, I'm going to take care of you. You're not going to have to work as hard, Mom. And I'm like, it's so sweet you want to do that. Baby, I make almost $20 an hour. Does it seem like I am financially secure? No. I was like,
welcome to $20 an hour.
Right?
And he's like,
$20 an hour 15 years ago would have been amazing.
When you were born, that would have been a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the $20 an hour jobs 15 years ago are now like $45 an hour jobs. And my $20 an hour job is what most people would have been making $5 an hour then back then. So yeah, the economy is not what it used to be, children.
Oh God, it's getting worse every day.
Yeah, I really hate that that's the current climate that we have financially and economically, but yeah, I don't see it getting any better, and I really am pretty terrified for the future of my grandchildren.
Yeah, well, let's just bring that back to Christmas a little bit. I feel for everybody that has kids this time of year, like large families, like this is the most financially stressful time of year. And I ask myself this every year. I'm like, how did my mom do it? How did my grandma do it? Because they made way less than I do currently. And they made every year seem like they were like it was amazing. I don't know how they did it.
Well, one, the economy was different.
Yeah.
Back then, like when I was talking to my dad a couple weeks ago, when we went out to breakfast, I was telling him, like, back then, like, yeah, you may have had to tighten the belt and may have struggled some, but back then, on a single family income, you could survive. I didn't say thrive.
Yes.
Because everybody seems to think that nowadays, a lot of the millennials and the Gen Zs talk about that in my generation we fucked up so bad and the boomers fucked up so bad because we're the ones that fucked up all the economy and all the things. And I am not denying that we all contribute as we go, but it's not just that. They don't want my real opinion on the fact that a lot of people tend to behave like sheeps nowadays instead of being like, no, this. It's like the political climate. The reason I'm anti-politics is because it doesn't matter what shit show you're looking at. I don't care who you're interested in. It's the same. Behind the scenes, it's all one puppet master. Okay. So why are you in that political circus? Stop worrying about that political circus. Start finding something that matters to you in your local community. Do some research on it. Start doing the legwork. And eventually take your stuff to the hill and lobby for the shit that matters, not this bullshit that we are in right now. The distractions. That's what I call them, the distractions.
Because, in my opinion, most of the newer generations, it's just fucking easier to let the government fight within themselves while we have to just get through. We're too busy just trying to survive to even care, because in a lot of my generation's opinions, I seem to notice, it's more like no matter what, they're going to fuck us. It's just going to be in new and creative ways depending on who's there. So why do we care?
See, and for most things, that is Gen X's standpoint of like, who gives a fuck if it doesn't affect me daily? Who gives a fuck? But that when it comes to the grand scheme of things is a problem because you have to care about something. It's like the old country adage, if you stand for nothing, you'll fall for anything.
Yeah.
There's the problem. You have to stand for something. I don't care if you're right, wrong, or indifferent. Like, as long as you're open to changing your mind when you find new facts and information, then I don't care what you stand on. Take a stand on I love purple people eater monkeys. I mean, I don't give a fuck. But take a stand.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, you should know what you believe, and you should be able to stand by that. But I will also say, I don't buy into this, you're a Democrat, so you have to have these beliefs and like vote this way, or you're a Republican. Like, why can't we just pick and choose the laws and the things that we want without it having to be a side?
That's why I don't vote in national elections. I only vote in local elections because stuff that affects my everyday life. Like, national elections are, to me, they are the circus. Like, I don't want to pay tickets to the circus. I'm not going.
Yeah.
But if there's a city hall meeting about starting a purge on child predators, then hi, I'm here. Can I have 3 seats? Because I got a loud voice.
Don't need to daydream about that right now. Okay, focus.
I'm just saying, like, if it's something important to you,
yeah,
that can impact your life, your world around you, take a stand, put some effort into it, go after it, tackle that goal. Why are you worried about who is in the office that is controlled by the 1% that the only thing that affects you about them is how fast you can provide as much money from your wallet into theirs and then die?
Yeah, preferably quickly.
Yeah, so that they can then profit even more off of your death because they've used you as collateral towards their...
And we wonder why people are offering CEOs. But,
I'm just saying, like, the one, we all, whether you believe in conspiracies or theories or not, we all know that the 1% control the world.
Yeah.
And
they have the money.
And that now we don't even really have a middle class anymore because it's gotten so disparaging, the differences.
Yeah, and this is something I commonly talk to my mom about. Like, I was growing up, like, like, we were poor. Like, poor. And we were still a step above where she was growing up because she was literal dirt floor poor. And we're like, we strived for middle class. We would have been perfectly happy in middle class. And now that my mom is to the point where she should be what is considered middle class, she's still struggling and fighting tooth and nail. And my mom is somebody that literally works every single day. She does not ever have a day off. And she can still just barely make it.
Yeah, that's... They said, girl, but that's a problem that's now nationwide.
Yeah,
hell,
exactly.
It's getting worse to where it's spreading globally. Like, economy, different countries have different economies, but now it's getting to the point where it doesn't matter. You turn on YouTube or the news. Well, I don't watch the fucking news, but you turn on YouTube and scroll through different countries, just things they're reporting on, and you're like, damn, like,
the whole world
is going through this.
And why is it every year right around this time, when we're supposed to be the happiest and the most giving and the most charitable, this is when it seems like every year the natural disasters happen, like people lose their jobs, like it seems like everything seems to hit the hardest around this time of year.
It's because everybody's trying to cut costs for the same reason that the lower class is trying to take on 50 million hours. They're trying to provide for their families at the end of the year and provide a decent Christmas. And like I'll be honest, the first gift that Bear has this year purchased and available was brought in by his county nurse yesterday. And it's wrapped and in my room, but like, I mean, and they brought it wrapped like that. Yeah. But like, I don't even have the finances yet to get him a gift. And I normally shop all of my shopping the week of Black Friday and Cyber Monday.
Yeah.
And I'm done. I didn't have the money. All of my credit maxed out paying bills and yeah, I'm trying to climb back out of that hole, but unfortunately, I didn't expect to have the most severe fibro flare I've ever had in my life and be down for 2 weeks.
Yeah, you weren't expecting not to get paid back the money that you were clearly owed or go through the things that you went through this year that were unforeseeable and devastating.
Yeah, I will tell you what, I will never again, and it's sad because my trauma has kept me to where it doesn't matter how rough a child is, I have compassion for a child.
Yeah.
And I can have patience, even if I have to take a break and come back to the kid. Because yeah, I'm a human. I'll get frustrated and mad if they're lashing out at me for too long. Yeah. But I've always been able to calm down and come back and see a different way and reach kids like that and been compassionate with kids where other people haven't been able to. And helping somebody, giving them a place to come shower, to wash their clothes,
yeah,
and to sometimes sleep, and so that I didn't lose my housing, but so that their children weren't homeless on the streets and have that taken advantage of, and then to be abused through the process, and even my therapist was like, how do you not recognize what is happening to you as abuse?
Because you wanted to help them so badly. You tried to see the good in them. And when there's kids involved, you will push yourself to your breaking point. Because that would.
Let's clarify. Would.
And that makes sense because that is what you wish could have happened for you as a child. So you are now that person. Or you were.
Yeah, and now I have boundaries so strong. It's really, I told my therapist, I was like, it's really sad because now I don't even have compassion for those children. Those children are being abused every day. And now there's no cushion because obviously the people that they're staying with now are also abusive and alcoholics, so they're not going to intervene when abuse is happening. They're not going to say, you can't put hands on somebody in my house. I did those things, and so I prevented some abuse, and for that I paid for it, because that abusive narcissistic adult was 10 times worse, and then she would manipulate the children to be disrespectful and abusive. So it just became this vicious cycle of every time they were around, I was being abused in my own home.
Yeah. And that's never okay.
And they were taking my resources from me and my child and draining them while spending theirs on the most asinine shit.
Even with the situation I just got out of. People cleaning dishes, we took turns taking out trash, we all bought groceries, we all bought house supplies, it is not okay, I feel, to be in somebody's home or to be cohabitating a place and not be helping the whole household as much as possible.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just normal, but apparently not.
Well, you saw our living situation with my family member. How many times did you and I clean up, rearrange, do things, only to be told that after they were enjoying the fruits of our labor, how worthless sons of bitches we were, and
greedy, and took advantage of them,
and we were paying.
Yeah. Oh, that, and
I love that one. You're not paying me. Nope, I'm paying your husband.
Yeah. Don't ever tell a woman that if you're not trying to fight. Just forewarning you.
Yeah, it was interesting, but like, so many people think that they also can take advantage because they can trigger trauma. People like us, they can trauma trigger us and put us into a victim state. But what they don't realize is that even in a victim state, somebody that's been through that before is constantly looking for how to cover their own butt because they don't trust you.
Oh yeah.
They may be taking your abuse and be the victim, but at the same time they're like, I may be the victim and I may think I'm in the wrong, but something doesn't feel right.
You can feel that at the center of your stomach.
So slowly you just start collecting evidence and putting stuff together because your brain says something ain't right in Houston. Or like when she tried to tell me I couldn't disconnect the phone line because I wouldn't be able to afford it and it would disconnect all my phones and it would fuck me over. Yeah, it fucked me over that I have to pay for a phone line that I didn't agree to pay for. But you know what? I'm pretty sure that it was pretty rough on you to all of a sudden think you were cock of the walk and realize that I wasn't taking that anymore from you.
It just amazes me how somebody can know that somebody else is struggling or in need and still
helps you.
And helps you, and you choose to take advantage of that. Like, I don't get how people can do that.
Me either, but I am learning that there are quite a few people like that, and I know that some of them are that way because of their own abuse, and that's how they learn to survive. But if you're a grown up and you're still doing that shit, fuck you.
I was about to say
you have a responsibility as an adult to get the help you need.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Like, I've had a discussion with a family member a few times, and I'll tell you about this, but they do not defend inappropriate touching of minors, but they do say if it happens to you, you are more likely to do it, and that's like the reason. I was like, no, it is therapy.
So therapy. Statistically, that is true.
Okay, but that's still not
that you can either be somebody that recommits that act, or you're somebody that searches for that act with any person because you're of the abuse.
Yes, and I get that,
but it doesn't guarantee you're going to be that.
No, it doesn't. But I don't care. No matter what has happened to you, unless you have had it causes actual mental health issues or fracturing of reality, there is always a way to unlearn what you have been taught. It may be hard. It may take years. It may take intensive therapy. It may take medications.
I don't know.
But I feel if you want to.
I don't know that I believe that. Because they've done lots of studies on predators, and it's not actually about the act of intimacy. It's about power. And so
I know.
Once it's there, they haven't found a way to get rid of it yet.
Yes. But there is also the role of self-control.
I think that in that it lies the responsibility, unfortunately, of the parents. Like, you need to be paying attention to your kids. And if you notice changes, find out what's going on. Look for clues. Like, you can look up, even if you've never been through that. Personally, I can see the clues when it's happening because I've been through it. But if you've never been through it, you can look up on the internet. What does it look like when a child predator is grooming a child? And they will give you key things to look for. And let me tell you, no predator avoids everything on that list.
They can't.
You're going to see multiple. 2 or 3 things on that list are going to be happening. Whether you've been ignoring it or chalking it up to whatever is different. It could be the case. But the fact is, if you really pay attention to the signs and you learn that list and burn it into your mind, and you go on and you start watching people that interact with your children and they start having 2 or 3 of those things consistently, I can guarantee you they're either grooming or they're already abusing your child.
The most important things, ladies and gentlemen, to remember is believe your child. Children
Always.
do not say these things
for no reason.
For no reason. Pay attention to what's going on. Do not trust just anybody with your children. They are...
Even family members, even your spouse. Just because you don't know it or see it or think it could happen because you think you know the person, here's a real big truth. Most kids that are hurt by a family member or a parent.
This is very true. And when it does happen to be a family member, especially if it is a parent, they aren't going to want to tell you because they love that person. So you have to be looking for the signs.
You also, when they do come forward, like or if you notice the signs and they aren't coming forward, you have to be understanding. You have to be compassionate. Parents, if you've been through abuse of that nature, don't hide that from your children, because sometimes the shame that they feel will keep them from coming forward. But when they know that you've gone through it too, and they look up to you and they see you as a strong person, a strong survivor, then they go, oh, I can get through this too. I can be strong. I can press charges and I can get through this. I can walk through this fire because I have people to walk with me.
And I've seen how strong they've become even after it.
Yeah, so I don't know. There's always such a lot that we talk about. It's so weird how it evolved from a Christmas tree being impounded to child abuse or child harming. But
honestly, like, I think it's almost natural. Like, when you are somebody that has had a lot of trauma, a lot of things, like, even happy stuff like Christmas can be the thing that triggers the waterfall of emotions and memories. But I think the important thing is that we go to the people that we do love and we are still close to. We reach out to our support systems. And for those that are lucky enough to have a close and loving and healthy relationship with their families, hug them a little tighter this time of year. Everybody needs it.
Yeah, it's kind of a little bit weird too, because I have this weird habit where, for a long time, I didn't say the words "I love you" unless I was like madly in love with you or you're my child, because for me that felt gross because of the way all the abuse that I went through as a child. And then a family member of mine that I grew up with, she always had to have somebody say it back to her if she said it, and no matter if you felt it or not, you had to say it or she wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
And so for the longest time, like you couldn't even say that to me. Like literally, unless I was madly in love with you, you couldn't say that to me without me getting upset, and I wouldn't say it to another human. Yep. And now that in and of itself is upsetting to me, because I literally love humans for being humans. Like, I don't have to know you to love you. Doesn't mean I'm in love with you. But like, there are people that I want to say, like, they're having a rough day or whatever, and I want to say I love you to them, and I hold back because I'm like, they're gonna think
I'm a crazy person.
Yeah, and it's not like, oh, it's not the I want to say I love you because, oh, I'm in love with you. Like, even sometimes guys that I'm talking to, I want to say that to, and not because, hey, I love you like, hey, now you should be my boyfriend or my partner or whatever.
Like, no, I love you as like a human being.
Yeah, it's just like in that moment, whatever was happening or whatever, that emotion bubbled up in me, and I just wanted to say I love you, and then I'll be like, nope, because then they're gonna think it's something weird, and I just wish that people would take those kind of things in context the way they're supposed to be, and so many people don't anymore. Like, if you're having a friendly chat and somebody does something sweet, and then you're like, oh, I love you, or oh, I love you, that does not mean I am in love with you, I want to marry you and have your babies. Let's no, it means that in that moment, you expressing whatever you expressed to me made me feel so moved that my heart and soul was like, as a human being, as another person on this planet, I love you.
Well, could you imagine how much better of a place this world would be is if you seen the homeless man down on his luck and everyone's like, I love you, let me help you, I love you as a human, let me feed you, let me help you get a job, let me help you help you. This world would be so much more advanced. Like, I thought we would have flying cars by now.
Yeah.
If we were compassionate human beings that didn't want to judge people off of their beliefs, then we could probably be so much further and so much more compassionate. A little bit of compassion could solve homelessness. It could solve a lot of children getting hurt and starving and all this stuff. But just a little bit of compassion. I'm not saying donate your whole paycheck. I'm saying help somebody out that you didn't think about helping out.
Yeah, there's a lot of solutions to the problems this world has. It's like we have a lot of homes that are rotting and foreclosing while they're busy building a lot of new homes that nobody can afford. And we have this excessive homeless population. Okay, so why not maybe do something like this? Hey, we have this foreclosed home. We will give you this 1-year lease where, you know, the first month, the yard needs mowed, the bushes need trimmed, you know, the equipment's provided for you. It'll be the company, so we'll drop it off and pick it up. But like on the days that we schedule, you're going to do this, this, and this, and you're going to accomplish these tasks. You accomplish that, and then it'll be covered. You're going to have to cover electric, if it's electric, or electric and gas, if it's electric and gas, but water and trash will be covered by the company that owns
like a landlord would.
Yeah. And then if they do that and they maintain it for a year and they get stable, because if you're stable, you can get a job.
Yeah.
That's most homeless people's problem, is that it's so much more expensive to be homeless.
When I know, like when I was homeless and on the streets looking for a job, just being able to get up in the morning, hide my stuff because it's definitely getting jacked if anybody sees it.
Yep.
Get to where there is a shower, get clean, appropriate clothing, walk around, fill out all the applications, hope to God I have enough money to keep money on my cell phone so I can get a call back.
Right.
And then go back, find all my stuff, hope it's still there, and then go find a place to hide for the night.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
And it's also really expensive if you are staying anywhere. Couch surfing, it doesn't matter. Hotels, worse.
Oh my God.
And that's only a temporary solution because nobody wants to hire a homeless person because they look at you as unreliable because you're homeless and, you know, you might freeze to death tomorrow under a bridge. They don't know.
And they don't care if you're dead. They just care that their employee didn't come open their shop.
Exactly. So it makes it very hard. But you take that, say, okay, so not everybody's going to appreciate that. And at the end of the year, sorry, bye, you got to go. Because now we're going to have to bring somebody else in to repair the damage. And, you know, if you're checking in and they're not meeting those milestones in that first month or the second month of the things that they're supposed to be doing, boot them.
Right.
But the thing is, most homeless people aren't like that. People think that most homeless people are drug addicts and losers, and that's not true. In fact, most drug addicts that are homeless were not drug addicts when they became homeless. Exactly. They became drug addicts because they had been homeless so long and they saw no other out.
Yeah, and I think that is such an important topic that not very many people talk about, and The majority of people that I knew that did drugs on the street started on the street. And they did it because they didn't want to be cold anymore. They didn't want to feel hungry anymore. They wanted to be able to stay up all night so somebody wasn't setting them on fire, which has literally happened in Medford, Oregon. And so what else were they going to do? Because the police weren't helping. Up until a couple years ago, social workers definitely weren't on the streets helping nobody.
Well, the police don't help. They go in and, we're going to trash everything you own and give you a citation for money that you have no income for.
Right? Like, I think almost a couple $1,000s for a camping ticket when I was homeless once. And I was like, dude, if I had a couple $1,000s, do you think that you would have just found me in a bush? Or them going into campsites, wrecking stuff, throwing it in the creek, and then ticketing us because we were polluting the greenway.
Or they just cut them up. They've walked into the camps at night when everybody's asleep and just started slicing through tents. So they're not usable and laughing. Like, people are at their lowest point and you come in and humiliate and take what little they had left to survive. Not even like possessions to say I own XYZ. No, but the possession that they have to keep them alive.
Yeah. Exactly. And then a lot of places, like, I don't know about other states, but here we have warming shelters when it gets too cold and during certain times of year.
But only sometimes.
Yeah, and only for certain types of people. A lot of them will not let you come in if you're a minor, or let your children come in with you, like, and a lot of people, they have their dogs or their cats and nothing's going to make them leave them outside in that cold.
No, and I don't blame them. They would freeze to death too.
Exactly, and I don't blame them at all.
But here's the thing. They don't start offering warming shelters until it hits 30.
Exactly.
32 is freezing, first of all. Second of all, I have been out, because I work nights, I have been out 3 a.m. getting gas at the end of my shift, and it said it was 34 on my temperature gauge, but I was standing outside, and because of the wind blowing, I couldn't even breathe. I was so cold.
Yes. And trust me, I had nights when I was out there that it didn't matter how many jackets I could have put on. It didn't matter. Like, I was on the fucking ground, even if it's in a sleeping bag, even if you're in a tank. You're out there. And
if I had to be homeless again right now with my health issues, first thing they tell you is when you're homeless and it starts to get cold, sleep during the day. Don't sleep at night. Walk at night. Don't ever stop and sleep.
Yeah.
Because you'll freeze to death.
Yep.
I would immediately curl into a ball.
Yeah, because
and go to sleep because I can't do all that.
Yeah.
I mean, I could sleep during the day and I can be up at night, but I cannot just be walking around in the cold. Like, just being out in the cold below 50 degrees because of my cold intolerance, because of my thyroid, I already start to get the hypothermic symptoms that somebody's when they've got full hypothermia setting in. Yeah, I can't breathe, I can't talk, like my whole body locks up. It's insane. And so imagine me in 32 degrees all night.
I think about it because most of my time when I was homeless, I was a teenager and I was in my early 20s. I think about these people that are 50, 60 years old. They have cancer. They have nothing.
That's why I said, imagine me out in 32 degrees.
I
can't imagine it.
Because when I was younger, I was like, we can get through this, blah, blah, blah. I am nowhere near that age. But at this age, I'm like, the fuck, get through what? No? I need a bed, food, locks on doors.
I remember when you were like, me, a bed?
Yeah. Right around the time Heather and I met, like, I was like, I don't sleep on bed. That's too big of a space for me all by myself. Like, I'd rather sleep in this little section.
No, I told James that after we dropped you off, after we finished moving everything. I was like, I'm so glad to see her with a bed. And he just looks at me like, what? My ex, sorry. He's like, what? And I'm like, you don't know how long she went without being in a bed, and seeing her with her own bed just makes me so happy.
Yeah. Like, even, I had stayed in my mom's RV for a while, and when I first moved in there, that tiny little beginning couch that all RVs have, I slept on that for 6 months. I had to wake up to roll over so I didn't fall off. And then eventually one night I was like, I can't do this anymore.
You're like, I need an actual human-sized space.
Right? And then it's right there. It's on mine. It has a lock.
I feel that. And there are days, I'm in my own home, and there are days where I will go 2 or 3 days where I won't shower, even when Bear's not here. And people are like, thought you said you were going to shower. Thought you said you were going to shower. Thought you said you were going to shower for like 2 or 3 days. And I'm like, yeah, I just got busy. But the reality is that I'm going through this mental fight where I'm like, my brain is like, you can't be alone in a shower.
Yeah. I get that. Like, especially if you are alone. Like, I am horrible about, like, the ghost noises once I get in the shower. That's when I think I hear people walking around. That's when I swear I hear my doors open and close. Like, there was a good point in time where I took a knife into the bathroom with me, even if the bathroom had locking doors, because I'm like, haha, I ain't gonna murder me in the shower. I've seen a few too many horror movies, but no.
Well, same, but it's not the horror movies.
Well, no, it's at the actual reality.
It's the intimate trauma that's happened to me in different places. That I go into a bathroom and I don't know, my brain starts. And then prison made it to where I cannot, and this is frustrating for even me, I cannot go into the bathroom and use the bathroom unless I'm in a strange place or there's somebody in my space that I feel unsafe with. Otherwise, I cannot close the bathroom door even when I'm using it. People are like, you fucking stink. Taking a shit with the door open. And I'm like, I am.
It's your bathroom.
I'm like, the fan's on. I'm sorry it's trickling out the door. I'll spray. I'll courtesy flash. Whatever needs to happen, but I'm not closing the damn door. It's like that Friday movie. No lock doors. So it's more like, no closed doors.
For me, it's like, I think it's because whenever I'm alone too long, it's like people find out. And they're like, no. Her, peace and quiet. Oh.
Oddly, the one exception to that, you want to know, this is going to be the weirdest thing you've ever heard. We lived, when I was pregnant with Damien Bear, in this studio house.
Yeah.
And the bathroom was like a small triangle. The toilet was like here. The sink was here, and there was like one space to stand here between the toilet and the sink, like for you to walk in, and I mean tiny sink, like a motorhome sink.
Yeah.
And a shower that was like twice the area of the sink, right next to the sink, and the little, and then the door closed. A bit, and James couldn't close the door because his legs were too long when we lived there. But I could close it, and it would touch my knees. And for some reason, in that tiny ass little bathroom, I had to have that door closed.
We know you're crazy. So.
Only bathroom that had to stay closed since prison ever.
No, when I was at your family member's house. And I had to have those doors because people would get close to either one of those bathroom doors. I'm like, get the fuck away from me! Leave me alone! Yeah. It's the only space I don't have to see any of you.
I got over that because every single time I went in there and closed the door, the baby would come running in and jump on my lap. And I'm like, these aren't even my children. Why is this happening to me?
Because kids like you.
I know, but like I was just like, where is your parent? Are they blind, deaf, dumb, or retarded? What is happening here? Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
You know.
I know.
Act like you know. Like you were with her.
Listen,
whole life.
Listen, I know, but then my brain is always trying to have hope that it's not as bad as I think it is. And then it slaps me with the reality.
See, and this is why we balance each other out well, because you have that hope, and I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, I will be here. When reality does bitch slap you back into reality.
Bro, I still get a kick out of it. I still laugh that that family member thinks I stole you. Just like,
dude, when I heard that, I'm like, I am not a possession. I do not belong to you.
I actually laughed and told James, I said, technically, if we wanted to get down to the nitty gritty, I guess she kind of stole me.
Yeah, actually.
But I'm like, but I'm not correcting anybody. And James is like, so you just like her being insane about you and talking all this smack to everybody. I said, I don't care.
Who cares? Apparently, I occupy a large amount of her time and her mind, which is probably why she's a little bitter.
You know what will help with that? Therapy. That's all I can say. Therapy
or a
wonders.
big cut to get the fuck over it. But hey, therapy's good too. I do support that option.
Therapy teaches you
how to swallow. Get the fuck over it.
Yes, it does. Literally. Because remember, at one time I was not the same kind of shit show, but just as large of a shit show as her.
Yes. Yes, I do have to say therapy. Yes.
So, you know, I definitely come from, I am definitely, what did that lady say on that? What's that lady say on that fucking song that I like right now? She says, I'm both, ghetto and country, slang and drawl. Yeah. I'll take a stick and beat it and drag it out to the woods. And I was like, sums me up. Yeah. Sums me up. Like I can get ghetto as fuck with the best of them. I can get country as fuck with the dirtiest of them.
Yeah. Well, you know, that's the beauty of where and how we were raised. We were raised to pull no fucking punches. We were raised that you will get out there with the boys and shovel dirt and work your ass off, and you will come home tired. Because that is life. Whether it's because you're hustling or because you're out taking care of the farm. Maybe both in the same day, depending on where you're at that point in life.
I was going to say, depending on how the farm's doing, you might be pulling a whole day at the farm and then still going to the factory at night.
Right? I do gotta admire the farmers of this country, man. It's not a job I can do because I'm a honestly, like, I don't like being up before the sun. I do that at my job, and it's not out in the cold or on a tractor or getting kicked by a horse.
I have done early mornings before. I could be a farmer's wife very easily. I would love it. I would love every minute of it. Every minute of it. Like, I mean, yeah, there's hard work, but like, so, the idea of building something together, like from the ground up.
Yeah.
Like, and something tangible, and the idea of like having a partner that you know is going to be in it for the long haul. Because first of all, the amount of work and the long haul that it takes just to stick with farm life is intense. Yeah. So I know you're not fixing to go anywhere, unless I force that. And I have no intention of being toxic in a good relationship. So yeah, why would I force you to go anywhere? If you're unhappy, that's a different story. We will have a conversation. If we need to part ways, that's just the way it's going to be, because I won't stay in a miserable marriage. But
no, should anybody.
But like long term, like that's why I say, like, my type is blue collar. Like the guy I'm talking to now, totally blue collar, construction. Like that's that. The guy before, firefighter. Like, yeah, I like blue collar, hands on, roughneck, redneck. Like I want somebody that I know is a hard worker, because marriage is fucking hard work. Yeah. I want somebody that I know has determination, because love, while I believe in love and I talk about like me as a person, I feel like I am love. So like
most days.
But at the same time, I also understand that love is not just a feeling. It's a choice. And when you are in a marriage, there's going to be days where you wake up and you look at that other person and you were like, listen. If we could introduce you to the wood chipper and get some, compost going on you, that would be fantastic today. But
I choose not to.
But I choose to love you even though it's hard today. Today is harder than most. But that's both sides. Both, like, that's a true relationship, friendship, marriage, whatever.
See, and I don't know, like, I don't even know if I have a type anymore. Like, tattooed, dangerous, loyal as they fucking come, like, willing to knock a motherfucker out for me and then cuddle me in the morning and be like,
yeah, you definitely got to have a little bit of outlaw to you. I think that's why I like the blue collar, because all of them tend to have some kind of rougher edge to them.
Yeah.
And I need that because I, personally, no matter where I'm at with my background, criminal background, whatever, like, my soul lives on a level of outlaw. Like, I come from a background of, let's be real, people that did intimate things without permission to women, people that stole horses and robbed banks and
motorcycles and had a volatile temper.
Yeah, my great grandpa, like, literally when his kids decided they wanted to leave the property, he got his shotgun out and started shooting at them.
Yeah.
Like, if you can make it off the land,
you're grown.
And it's like, that's the family I come from. So somewhere deep in my soul, there's this always itch to be on the other side of the law.
Well, yes.
And
the itch is fine as long as it's never scratched. That is the key.
Yeah, but if I am with somebody that's too, what my historical family would have called lily white, then that itch wants to get scratched. But if you can, like, have that edgier side to you where, like, when you see that I'm getting into those moods, we can brainstorm some outlaw ideas but never enact on them, then I feel better and I can move on from that itch because I got to brainstorm my little thing with somebody that understands me.
Yeah. See, my thing with it is when shit goes down, because things have a way of going very crazy, very fast in my life out of nowhere, I need somebody that can look at me and be like, we got this. Whether it's going to be the right way to do things or it's going to be the way to make it happen, everything's going to be all right.
Baby, I don't know what we're doing, but I know that you and me together, we are going to be fine.
Yeah. Pretty much, and I want to be able to believe them.
I definitely need that from my partner when I'm falling apart, but not because they're trying to fix it. Just like,
I need them to
let me fall apart, and then when I start to, like,
I just want to have the confidence in them that they could fix it if I needed them.
Yeah, and I understand that, but I'm a little bit different. I don't want them to fix. I want them to hold me while I fall apart, and then I want them to remind me that I've gotten through life this far.
Yeah.
And done it successfully, and now I've got them with me, and we're both in this for the long haul. So do I really think there's anything I can't tackle? Like, remind me that I am a badass bitch. That you're just here, got my back if I need it, but remind me that I'm a badass bitch after you held me while I was hysterical because I need to go through that.
Don't you tell anybody I was crying.
Yeah, never. That is a sworn secret.
I think almost every one of my exes has heard those words from me. Don't you fucking tell anybody you see me cry. Actually, everybody cries. The fuck they do!
You may have been told that, but we were told something different.
Right? I'll give you just something to cry about for 10 years of your life and makes you be like, the fuck crying? What do you mean? You do that shit, you get smacked.
Or worse things happen, and then don't cry, little girl, because nobody can know this happened, or I will hurt people you care about.
Yes. And parents, pay attention.
Yeah, when the smile doesn't reach their eyes, something's going on with your kids. Even if nothing else has changed, just know that.
And it is such a crazy world that we're living in now. If you would have told me a couple years ago that at Christmas time I would be sitting with my best friend deciding to tackle a podcast that we've talked about for a couple years now, and really deciding that this was somehow the right time of year to really get everything in line for me and start knocking out goals. I would have fucking opened my bottle and told you to fuck off. You're interrupting my me time.
Well, like I've told people that have asked about the podcast, like the first episode, the intro is cut in because we had to replace the intro, but the main part of the podcast where you see us talking and my hair up in a bun and everything was because we have procrastinated so long on starting this. Like literally we've talked about starting this all year. We've been talking about doing the podcast for 2 years, but we actually talked about at the beginning of the year starting this fucking thing. And then here we are in December.
Yeah. Life happens, but...
And so we looked at each other and I was like, if we don't sit down and record this now, we're never going to get it done. We hadn't brushed our hair. We hadn't brushed our teeth. We were sitting in my bed bullshitting. And we just hit record.
And we're like, well, this is what we wanted it to be. So...
Yeah, so we were not as, decently dressed the first time or anything, but it was because we needed to just start. Like, we have been putting it off and letting life get in the way. And the reality is life is never not going to be in the way. Yeah. So just think about that when you're thinking about goals, people. If you're like, hey, I need to do this, this, and this before I start, just start.
Yeah, I would definitely say one of the new mantras I've picked up for myself in the past few months is you don't get new things or get to be in different places if you keep doing the same exact thing every day. And if you're going to choose to do the same exact thing every day, you don't get to be mad that you don't get the new things in the new places. So... my procrastinating ass had to stop procrastinating on a whole lot of things. A whole lot of life goals that I've been putting off out of fear.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's a good place to stop this week, and we will see you all next week. Hope you join us again. Thanks.